I'm Charity, and this is my sister Sara. We're two filmmakers with a desire to return to our roots of hands-on art projects, and we're taking on Wichita one color at a time. The Wichita Sedgwick County Historical Museum has sort of become our second home.
We occasionally work at the Sedgwick County Museum. Usually we work front desk and greet people. We've actually played our award-winning films during some of the events. We've gotten to know Zach quite a bit there.
We know him as a graphic designer. Zach does a lot more than just graphic design, but he's done a really good job at updating some of the displays, and he's sort of a Zach of all trades.
I think during one of the times I was working front desk, he had made a comment about he does like a lot of portraiture. We had just finished the first episode of Color Me Wichita, and so we were like, well, maybe he can be in episode 2. We thought it'd be cool to actually take him outside into Heritage Square, and we kind of looked around and we figured, let's have him draw the woman in the fountain. I found out that it was for the bicentennial celebration in 1976, a commemorative statue to celebrate like all the pioneer women throughout Wichita history.
Now we're getting into the meat of what this series is about. Meet a new artist, learn about their chosen medium, and get a chance to try it for ourselves.
I was doing ink and watercolor for a long time. I was doing acrylic paintings. Charcoal is the cheapest thing to get into. It's just burnt wood. The stuff you buy makes it apply a lot better. It's just caveman stuff. When I was experimenting with it, it kind of lent itself to the kind of highlights and shapes I was trying to get. The marks and the paper texture kind of lend themselves to making skin, like the texture of skin and kind of the way light hits skin. And so it just kind of lent itself to portraits, and then I just started getting the likeness down. The statue has kind of exaggerated proportions. If you squint, you can see the darkest parts. The lightest parts are on the top of her head. I love doing the highlights the most. And it's always important to keep looking at what you're drawing, because you can easily take off on your own drawing whatever you feel like, but you'll end up with what you think is supposed to be there instead of what's actually there. I think one big thing about this sculpture too is that it's got a lot of soft curves, so it's kind of good to not make too many lines. There is a very real possibility that you'll just overwork this and then the paper kind of looks gross and everything kind of smudges all together. If you can kind of distance yourself from it, and you know, if one doesn't turn out, you just start over again.
When you get a chance to sit with an artist and look at something that they're really talented at and that they're really passionate about, they do it almost effortlessly. I'm really excited to get a chance to try it on my own.
Even while I was shooting, I was starting to be like, oh man, what have I gotten myself into? I'm not really as good as drawing the human body as much as other people, so the design that I'm going to pick is not going to be human.
Sara and I had a chance to walk around the museum and look at all the things on each floor to figure out what inspires us.
So we decided to check out the Child's World exhibit, and I thought that was a really good choice because it shows childhood toys and entertainment from the turn of the century. You know, what did kids like to play with back then, and maybe display that in our drawings.
I turned the corner, and behind the glass was my subject that I knew I had to draw. Hoots and Quacks was a cartoon found in the Wichita Eagle created by Ben Hammond. He would read the funnies on KFH radio on Sunday mornings, and his show was called Good Morning Children. When I saw the owl with the big frown and scowl on his face, I knew that was the one for me. The funny thing about picking this subject that I didn't realize until much later is that it does relate to our Who Scammed Raja Rabbit film. Jamie reads a part of the comic strip that talks about how to make all the rabbits disappear after Porter left town.
I didn't want to be too ambitious, to be honest. I mean, I wanted to pick something really cool and amazing to draw, but at the same time I wanted to be realistic because I've never worked in charcoal before. I ended up coming across this cute little penny farthing. There's a big wheel and a little wheel, and wheel apparently resembles the size of a penny, and then the smaller wheel is supposed to be a farthing, which is a quarter of a penny. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I think I can do this. It's pretty much solid black. There's not a whole lot of, shadows and stuff I can do. So I figured I can do something as basic as that.
First thing I wanted to do was to spend some time looking at the picture. Before I touched pencil to paper, I wanted to look at the picture, take in where all the shading would be, where the light hits it. I'm also spending time Googling charcoal because I've never used charcoal before, and so it's a little bit different than just using a regular pencil. I wanted to know when to use the hard pencil, when to use the soft one, how often do you use the white pencil.
I actually kind of tested it out on some scratch paper first. Didn't want to, assume and make a stroke, and then I couldn't fix it too well.
So I did just a crude sketch of the outline of Hoots. After that, I went in and added a little more detail just with the regular pencil so I knew where the shading would be. And then I finally took the leap and started coloring it in with all of my charcoal pencils.
I was trying to figure out how big is the front wheel in relation to the little wheel, because I didn't want to make it too over exaggerated. I'm not really necessarily doing a caricature of a bike. I'm trying to keep it somewhat realistic in proportion. Even though I do a lot of art, I don't always do a lot of depth. I've never really been initially taught to do shading and all that. So a lot of that was just a lot of trial and error and kind of experimenting to see what works and what doesn't. I think that's what I've been nervous about this whole process, is all the mistakes. And thankfully, it wasn't as bad as what I thought it out to be.
I would say that I am proud of my finished project. This is the first time that I've done a charcoal drawing, and so for the first time around, I think I did pretty good.
Are you excited to show your drawing to Zach?
I guess the correct answer is yes, I am excited to show my drawing to Zach. But look at this. This is what I'm working with.
I really don't want to show him this because, it's one thing showing something that you've never done before, you're not 100% good at, to someone who is 100% good at it. So, you know what? Let's just do it. Okay, so today is the moment of truth. I'm about to show Zach what I hope is adequately done art using charcoal. We're actually back in the Child's World exhibit here because what I drew is the penny farthing bike directly behind you. So this is what I did.
That's good. That's nice. Because it's all one solid color and you're working in charcoal, you can go deep down to like the darkest shadows. You can see there's a shadow underneath. There's shadow here, shadow there.
What the other challenge was the spokes on the wheels. The smaller wheel is the one I probably had more issues with, just because, when you're a kid drawing a bike and the wheels, you just do it like pizza slices.
Yeah, you don't have to place all the importance on every single spoke.
Yeah.
And you can kind of like imply certain ones, and so it's like drawing every single tooth in someone's mouth.
That's a good point, because then it looks weird.
So are you saying penny farthing for your thoughts?
Oh, very nice.
Add it in there.
I feel bad. I should have thought about that.
Now it's my turn to show Zach my drawing. My item is also here in Child's World. We actually didn't plan it that way, but it just kind of happened. So if you follow me this way, I decided to draw Hoots from Hoots and Quacks. So 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that's very good.
I'm really happy with that response.
There's so much texture on there. You have folds in the clothing.
Yeah. And then just the scratches from it being old.
Yeah, and it just looks old too. Proportions are good. You can always push the values a lot more. You want that black to be just like black.
Like jet black, yeah.
I see, you look like you did some smudging.
I did a little bit. I didn't have one of those like official smudgy things, whatever you call it. I had Q-tips. So.
Yeah, no, that totally works. If you squint really hard, you can kind of tell what you can still see, and then those are the things that really need to be the lightest.
Okay.
And then once you open your eyes, you can dial it in a little closer.
Okay.
And then, just work from what you're seeing on the paper.
I got a very good from Zach, so I am very happy with that review.
Well, we're here at Heritage Square, actually specifically inside the gazebo.
Yeah.
At the back of the Central County Museum. How do you think everything went overall?
You know, I'm not too disappointed considering it was our first time doing charcoal drawings. Zach didn't make fun of us too bad. He's probably laughing at us now that he's gone.
All right, well, that concludes our adventures in the charcoal drawing world.
Well, who knows where else this journey will take us when we take on Wichita one color at a time. Frickin' birds! When we take on Wichita one color at a time. I think they're getting louder.
The birds got louder.